Ayan. So again po, good morning everyone and Happy New Year. Ayan. So welcome po to today's Genia webinar titled Sharing of Best Practices, Personalized Learning Paths. Ayan. So I hope you're all doing well po and you are very excited as we are to dive into this session. Okay, so my name is Bea. Ayan. So and I will be your moderator for today. Ayan. So before we begin, I want to take a moment to sincerely thank each of you po for being here today. I know that it's a Saturday and there are countless of other ways that you could be spending your time and yet napili niyo po kami. Ayan. So thank you po. Okay, so kick things off with some positive energy. Okay, so let me ask you po. Okay, so what's one thing that you're grateful for this week? Ayan. So you can type down your your answers in our chat box. Okay, so again, my question po is what's one thing that you are grateful for this week? Okay, so let's see our chat kung ano yung mga na-share ng ating mga teachers. Okay, so Sir Mark Anthony said, I am grateful that I am still alive. Actually, same po. Okay, and Ma'am Kimberly also said small achievements. Ayan po. So, ayan po, I agree with that. Dapat even though may mga achievements tayo, no matter how small, it should be celebrated. Ayan, so another one is good health. Ayan, so I agree with you po, Ma'am January. Ayan, perfect naman po yung name niyo sa ating month. Ngayon. Okay, and then let's see. Ayan, si Ma'am Annalisa said, presence of life. Ayun. So, I'm sure na marami po tayong mga, things that are grateful for. Ayan. So, ayan. So, thank you for sharing your thoughts. Okay? And I can feel na this is going to be an active group. So, I hope let's keep it that way throughout the session. Okay? And before we, start our main program, ayan. So, let's go over some quick reminders. Okay? So, first, our first reminder is, let's ensure the smooth flow and kindly keep your microphones muted po during the presentation. And if you have questions or mga ideas that you'd like to share, feel free to type it down po sa chat box natin so that we can address them later on. And later din po, we're also going to have a dedicated Q&A portion at the end so that we can address your questions and hear your insights. Ayan, so dapat may mga sharing of insights din tayo later. Okay, and we also encourage you to take notes and participate actively in the discussion as your input is very valuable to us. Ayan po. So, and I think nakikita ko naman po with your answers na very active tong group na to. So, that's great. Okay, and for our last reminder, please be informed that we are recording this session for documentation purposes only. Ayan, so those are our reminders. And I know that everyone would like to go to the main part of this webinar already. Okay, so without further ado, let me introduce to you our speaker for today. Okay, so our resource speaker for this training was born on August 9, 1968 in Baguio City, Benguet, a province known for its rich cultural heritage. She earned her Bachelor of Science in Education with a major in English from St. Louis University, graduating magna cum laude in 1989. She later pursued a Master's of Arts in Education, majoring in the education, graduating cum laude in 2003 from the same institution. Currently, she is undertaking further studies in PhD at St. Louis University to enhance her expertise in the field. With a passion for teaching and leadership, she has held various significant roles throughout her career. She served as the principal of St. Louis University Laboratory High School from 2004 to 2009. Following this, she took a role as an ESL teacher at the Sellers Middle School in Garland, Texas, USA from 2009 to 2015. Okay, so our speaker has also continued to excel in the field and became a grade level advisor and research immersion teacher at St. Louis University Laboratory High School Senior High from 2016 to 2021. Currently, she holds the position of Learning Area Coordinator in the Languages Department at the Basic Education School Laboratory Senior High School Department, a role that she has served in since 2022. Okay, so please join me in welcoming our speaker, Miss Ria Francis A. Robles. Hello po, ma'am.
Hello, good morning, and thank you so much, Ma'am Bea. And to all of you po. Nako, right now, we're like 270. Akala ko mga 35 lang tayo this Saturday. But anyway, we're so grateful for your number, for your presence po. And just like Miss Bea mentioned earlier, we welcome no comments, any thing that you'd like to add to this. I'm not going to be how do you call this now? Manipulating the whole thing. I know some of you here are experts on the personalizing no, of our students' learning path. So please just be free to raise your hand so Ma'am Bea and the group, our team, can acknowledge you or read your comments in our chat box. Okay? And I would like also to say my own greeting no of a blessed new year to all of us here, teachers, our new teachers, our very young teachers, and of course teachers like me who have been in the profession also for a long time already or about to retire. Okay, and so with that, let me start off by saying that we will try to end on time. We started a little bit later, like 3 minutes late, but anyway, like Miss Bea said, we will have a portion where your questions will be answered, but I think it would be more of sharing of insights, no? That would help us through the discussion. I just like also to shout out, not to Sir Ariel. I was reading also through the chat box earlier when Miss Bea asked, what was your question again, Miss Bea? What are you grateful for? Something like that, right? And I just saw Sir Ariel, wherever you are there, from whatever school you're coming from, he mentioned small gain, no, and that struck me because indeed webinars like these, seminars that we attend, whatever small gain, no, that we can get is already, I think, big enough to include to whatever experience we already have. Okay, so let's start and let's see, no, where we will go from here with your comments and probably your suggestions later on also. I'll try also to share some of the actual practices already that I have done, okay? And of course, using the Genio LMS, because that's also one of the reasons why we're here today to find out how we can use our LMS to help us in personalizing our learning paths. Yan, okay? So let's start off.
How many hours?
Okay, so okay na po tayo? All right, so it's personalizing learning paths, meeting diverse Filipino student needs. This is our session 1. And with this, we have 3 objectives. Of course, the first one, I'm hoping that we will be able to see the difference of how we usually prepare our lessons, di ba? Kasi po teachers, when we prepare our plans, we actually prepare for all the students, no, in the same level. And not often enough do we prepare a separate lesson for a student or even a group of students who have diverse needs. All right, so that's the first one. The second one is hopefully we can also share here, no, how we've been using our data, no, that we get from our students through our assessments, and if you have standardized tests in your schools, okay? And I know that there are some schools here probably have them, and it would be good to share how you use data in personalizing your students' needs. And of course, the last one is, again, it's a prayer that through our discussions today, we will be able to learn, no, and really, okay, imbibe in ourselves the importance of collaborating and not working in isolation in our schools, no? Especially among our subject areas. Okay, so moving on from there, I also would like to say that we have at least three topics that we could finish for the first session. These are very, very brief conversations that we will be looking into. For example, the first one is how do we understand personalized learning? The second one is looking into key components. And the third is, of course, looking into how do we really differentiate instruction. All right? Okay, so are we set for the first part, no? And the first one is, please, no, kindly just put your answers in the chat box. How do you know what does personalized learning really mean to you? Okay, so can we like start typing po our answers? And Miss Bea, if you could help me, no? Once they start coming in to read some as they come in. So, what does learning or personalized learning mean to you based on your experiences, based on probably seminars you already have attended, based on conversations, no, that you have in your faculty rooms with your friends, mga ganyan po, no? Because personalized learning is not something new to us. It's probably just the question on how do I start, no, and how do I do it. That's probably will come in into the discussion. Do we have answers already coming in, Miss Bea?
Ayan, I think our teachers are still typing pa po, ma'am.
Okay. So, but if anyone would like to give, no, their thoughts on these first questions, just raise your hand po, tap the icon for that, and we will acknowledge you.
Okay, so I think, ma'am, we have one answer na po from Miss Lani. She said, addressing the needs of each pupil.
Okay. Yes po. Anything else?
Okay, and another one po from Sir David Kian. Learning based on how you effectively integrate information to your schema.
Okay, very good. Ano pa po?
Okay, and then Sir Marlo said, or Ma'am Marlo, I'm not sure. Ayan, so it focuses on giving learners more control over how they learn, making education more flexible and relevant to their unique goals.
Wow, galing. Thank you for that answer po, no? Indeed, the word control there it will really matter into the factor of personalized learning because first and foremost po, in a classroom, no, the right now, no, especially nowadays, the control of the direction rather of the learning of a student is no longer just in the hands of the teacher, no? So that's why we have what we call a self-directed learning as well. So thank you for those thoughts. So in other words, no, of course, marami pa po sigurong lalabas dyan, no, on how you would answer this question. But basically, the first thing that should come really into our mind is that to really understand what personalized learning means, okay? And one of the definition that I love to carry with myself, especially if I have to be reminded again to personalize my students' learning, is that I need not to tailor really my instruction to the need of my student, no, and not what I know is the need of my student. Okay, so yeah, that's probably the first one. And the second thought that comes to my mind is that it's giving me as a teacher the opportunity to really design, no, to give to my student, to pass to my students who really are in need of this type of learning, the control, okay, over the direction, no, or how fast they're supposed to be learning. Kasi when we say personalized, there are many researches coming out now. No? I don't know if you agree with me or if you had your own readings that personalizing learning is more than knowing the learning styles of our students, no? Later on, I'll show you one research where they're saying that mukhang hindi na, no? Na ang learning style is not anymore becoming the basis of personalized learning. It's more of knowing how fast ba do our students today absorb information? Because based on data that we already have, we do realize that some students, all right, would absorb information faster than the others. And that's why if we observe classes, if we have learning coordinators here right now, we would really notice na some students are, you know, really very, okay, very directed to the teacher, really listening, while there are some who would be, you know, basically typically bored of what's going on in the classroom and they're doing something else, or they're talking and they become a disciplinary problem. Okay? So siguro totoo nga yun, no? What's coming out now na how fast do our students absorb information and how fast do they react to this information that they're taking in inside our classrooms. Okay? That's the second thing, no, about personalized learning. And of course, the third one is to accept the fact, no, yung leverage na ngayon ng technology for learning is very much already in today, no? Meaning, we should know how to use technology and which appropriate technology would we use to personalize the learning of our students. Okay? So that's the first thing, no, that we would really try to understand today. How do we define personalized learning? And looking into the fact that it's really student based ito, no? And that we must have data to really say that there are students in our classroom who really need learning, okay, in a different way. So hindi yung sensing lang, no, na okay, I see Lina is bored every day, and then here I see, for example, Mario, okay, all right, always raising his hand, always getting perfect, so probably he needs more. Mga ganun. Hindi. It's not about sensing. It's about using data, whatever data we have, in order for us to figure out really who among our students need a personalized learning path. Okay? All right. So moving on from there, it's also important na since now we are in the Philippines po, we should really know on the classroom context that we have as Filipino teachers. Sometimes po kasi we're too much engaged in looking outside, no? And how other schools outside the real classroom that we actually enter every day and see what they're doing. There's nothing bad about that naman po, no? But really, if we want to address what's going on in our classroom, then we start where we are, okay? So we focus on this Filipino classroom that we have. And of course, emphasize that it's our students who matter here, okay? All right. So, if we look at our Filipino classroom context, then ito po, no? I'm sharing this of, how many do I have here? Five factors here that is based on my experience of as a teacher naman for almost like 32 years. And I don't know, I added the number six here, and I said here, add your own reality. What kind of classroom do you have? So for the past 30 years, I already have realized, okay, plus of course research, ha, hindi lang naman to, otherwise it's just by opinion. Really, our classrooms, no, in the Philippines are composed of students coming from different linguistic background. Accepted na po yan. Okay? If you're teaching in the senior high, you will know that there are a lot of regional differences already that will surface. Okay? Because our students are more expressive, our students are more creative, mga ganon, no? Also, we know that our classrooms now is a combination of students coming from both urban and rural areas. Okay? And of course, they bring with them their different cultures, and socio-economic factors will also come in. And so if you look at all these five, all right, will matter in the decision of creating, all right, learning paths for our students, na talaga our students do not come in at the same level. The factor alone, no, that they come from diverse linguistic background. Some, for example, are just in the intermediate level, let's say, of the English language. Some are already advanced, okay? Some are still beginners, okay? Sometimes even now with technology, we have students in our classroom who couldn't, no, barely, all right, utter a sentence, okay, even at a senior high level. So alone, no, these things alone, these factors alone already dictates to us now we cannot plan, all right, a lesson that will be true to all our students. Okay? And experience also dictates that it is indeed difficult. All right? I'm not saying it's gonna be easy to design learning paths. Okay? Again, at this point, Ma'am Bea, let's look at the chat box because I added the number six here. Aside from these factors po, no, when we situate our students, what else have you noticed po that you would like to share with us that would affect, no, the context of our Filipino classroom. Pakikwan po, chat, or you could raise your hand and share what other factors you notice aside from these five po I mentioned. I know Ma'am Liza, Paghaling is among our participants. Ma'am Liza, could you share other realities po in the classrooms that you enter that will really tell us we need to plan differently?
Good morning. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Perhaps one could be the mindset of the teacher. So if you are a person or a mentor who is thinking really how to fit the learning style, as what you have made mention earlier, and also considering the other factors that you made mention here, you have really to start embracing, especially that the learning style of our generation at present is at par from that of generation X, Y, millennial, or whatsoever. So, considering therefore the mindset of the teacher per se or the mentor per se could be one of the realization that we have perhaps no in my own perspective or point of view we have to consider in having this multicultural realities in the context of Filipino classroom.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you,
ma'am.
thank you. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I agree 100% with you. And indeed, no, what we when we talk about mindset, it's just about any mind. It's about growth, no, growth mindset, no, both the student and the teacher. Now, we're not supposed to be stuck up with our generation, no, with what we knew before, but what is really going on right now with what we notice with our students. That's why we really need to go beyond the basic profile that we know about our students. Okay. All right. Anything else? Yes, ma'am. Do we have anyone else? Miss Bea, do we have answers in the chat box or any comments?
Ayan. So, I think our teachers po, nag-iisip po sila ng ma-answer.
Their
Ano po,
own
so far,
realities.
wala pa po.
Oh, pero
Ayun.
totoo yan, no? I mean, what do you call this now? In our classrooms, when we look at our students and really, no, look at them, there are also, no, there are manifestations of some of them asking for help, no? About, hey, I'm like this, I'm not like them, I'm not like my seatmate, I'm different, I need help, parang ganon. So these are the things that we really have to be very aware of because they are actually shouting, hey, I'm coming from a different linguistic background. I have this kind of culture. I come from this socio-economic factor. If you give me an assignment, a specific one, I may not be able to produce because of the status where I'm, mga ganon. Okay? So really, like Mama Lisa said, let's have a growth mindset where we don't only look at the physical, okay, what's really happening among our students in the classroom, but beyond that as well. Okay? All right. So siguro mamaya there are other comments that may come in, but at this point I'd like to share with you. There's this reading that I had, no, from coming from Multicultural Education of 2023, where there are these writers Rosales and Sarce who actually said, no, that when we try to situate the context of a Filipino classroom, it's actually coming out among discussions and questions raised that a lot of Filipino teachers are simply, ang nangyayari daw is we're just simply extending our cultural adherence, no, to skills and practices. Pero hypothetically naman po, we may not even possess, okay, culturally inclusive behavior. And that is, of course, a red flag, no? For us when we start preparing our lessons because it's just simply telling us true we may know the theories okay about how we could actually respond no to the needs of our students. However, baka hanggang theory lang yan, okay, and that's why at the very beginning I mentioned about we may know the theory but we may have a difficulty no on how we are supposed to be applying the theory when it comes to what do you call this now, individualizing no our students learning path. Kasi for almost no the number of years I've been teaching, I rarely saw some teachers really differentiating instruction in the classroom. And most often, uh, when you ask them, ang lumalabas, it's so difficult, no? I mean, the time, yun na naman, time is a factor, materials are a factor, and knowing who among my students really need this individualized instruction, dun sila nahihirapan. Okay? And that's why every time I have this discussion and conversation, I keep on saying, tignan nyo kasi yung data ninyo, no? Make use of the assessments you are giving. All right? Hindi lang yung feeling or yung sensing. Okay? So, probably if you're interested, you can further read on this multicultural education aspect, no, that Rosales and Sarce are discussing, para naman you can prove to yourself that hindi lang naman theory yan, I can do it, or yan, nasa theory nga lang ako. Okay? But in real, probably I don't have the real behavior or the attitude towards really looking into personalizing my students' learning paths. Okay? All right. Here's another reflection that we can probably think about at this point.
Eh ma'am, ito na yata,
Ayun na. Okay po. Go,
naon,
ma'am.
naon na. Ako po ma'am ay grade 3 teacher.
Sige po.
Ako po. Ay ang diversity. So, ang hawak ko po ay yung parang first section science class namin. So, actually, ang hindi po masyado yung sa learning style, mostly ay yung attitude ng bata, how to study, yun po yung ang ginagawa ko na lang po ay one by one i-check ko po yung kanilang depende sa teams nila, sa mga exams nila at saka yung discussions namin. Then afterwards, yung may time po na nakabigay yung school namin. So parang a sort of remediation or na makukuha ko po sila or matuturuan ko po sila after.
Yeah, tama po, Miss Leilani. Thank you, no? So, lumalabas na po dito, no, especially when Ma'am Leilani said, yung mga assessment, no? Yeah, so database po siya. How about mag-ano na po ako, sorry, random na lang po ako. From Sir Mark Angelo, how do you recognize po diversity in your classroom po? That you may also use, of course, in personalizing your students' learning path? Sir Mark? Okay. Sige po. Dito sa chat box, ang daming lumalabas, no, na magandang sagot. Miss Bea, if you can read some of them. I see surveys.
Wala, ako lang ang SPU. Kaya po namamang kasunggo di mamot sa grado.
Paki, paki-mute po natin yung ano po. Okay, sige. From our chat box, we have answers like, help me out please.
Hello,
Miss Bea.
ma'am. Ito po yung, hold on. Marami na din po kasi.
Yeah,
Ayan
marami.
po. Ma'am January said there are students who are audio and visual learners.
So,
Ayan
learning
po.
styles.
Yes po. And then, Ma'am Maribel said through evaluation and assessments.
Academic readiness. Ano
Okay.
pa?
And then Ma'am Ray Ann said get to know students individually through conversations, surveys, or activities.
Okay, very good. Looking
Ayan.
into cultural backgrounds din yan eh. Okay, ano pa po?
And then Sir Gian said checking the students' records by applying different types of questions for various topics.
Yeah, that's data-driven.
Okay, and then
One
Ma'am
more.
Cecile said differentiated assessment, collaborative projects, and flexible flexible teaching strategies.
Yun. So, personal interest also will come in. So, ang gaganda po nung sagot natin, no? So, ibig sabihin, this group already is very, very good, no? As to identifying how, what do you call this now, can we identify students who are in need of personalized or individualized learning? Okay, so we're good at that point. Also, no, it's good also to look into the fact that when we are looking at the diversity in our classrooms, okay, we're not just basing it on, gaya nung sinabi ko kanina, kasi mahirap po yun, no? On attitude or behavior. Kasi ang hirap pong i-justify yan, no? Especially to our parents. Although it could be one, but it must not be the priority. Research says that it would always be good to look into data that we already have and plan from there. Okay? So that's why when I talk about personalized learning, I always push for database po, no, na what do you call this now, na gagamitin in order for us to really find out what kind of individualization should we give to our students. Okay? All right. So, yeah, no, that's why you can see here in my diagram that first and foremost, we have to really be data driven. Okay? And that sometimes if we don't have them, you can ask, no, the guidance office. Baka naman they already have done some sort of test on our students when they enrolled. That could be something we can start on, okay? And another thing is that we're looking into the speed nga po, no, of how our students absorb information during our lessons in the classroom, okay? And that when we set up goals, it will be for each student, no? But if you see something like common to our students, then you can make it a group learning goal. But most of the time, it should be more or less individualized po, okay? Because that's what we're after. And like I said, not one student is the same as another. That's why we have to look at a different or multiple learning pathways. And always it has to be student choice and student voice first. Let's listen to them. No, let's know where they are coming from, right? Okay, so from here, it will also be good to look into what are the things then that we should consider for differentiated instruction. And again, in the diagram, you can see their teachers that the priority is really the assessment strategies that we use, okay? And it's followed by what technology we already have in school and what technology do we know that can help us in differentiating instruction. Of course, our strategies should come in here. And the fourth one is we should know where our students are as far as language consideration is concerned. Okay po? All right. So moving from there, let's just look at assessment strategies. We all agree naman po that some schools give diagnostic assessments. We are all giving formative, performance, portfolio. We also have self-assessment tools. So all of this po, especially for our young teachers, you just make sure that you keep them intact and on file. They can be used as basis, no, for data-driven instructions. All right? Just make sure that they are reliable, okay, and they are standard-based also. Okay. Another one is, yan, we're thankful that most of us, since you're already here in this, participating in this seminar, we all have learning management systems. Now, in our case, it's Genyo. Because, accept it or not, nowadays, with our situation, we do need our LMS. And our LMS can really help us in personalizing instruction. Okay? So that's the part of technology integration as a factor in personalizing lessons. And of course, if we know different apps, just like what I'm showing you right now, they will also be very, very helpful in preparing our lessons. Okay? These are just sample, no, that I found online. Marami pa po yan. Although some of them you have to try out for free first and then later on you have to really purchase the app, no? But some are free. So these ones I'm showing you, you can explore them. They're very helpful po in preparing for individualized lesson. Now, later on, some of you could share some of these apps that you're probably already using. Okay? And these ones you can upload in our learning management system. So, kayang-kaya po ni Genyo yan. Alright? Another consideration is using differentiated instruction methods, no? For example, choice boards. Yan. I don't know if you are using choice boards in your classes, but this will help, all right, figure out what are the interests of our students. I'd like to make an example, no, Miss Bea. Last December
Sorry
po,
po, ma'am. May
yes
I
po.
interrupt for a bit po? Ma'am, I think po wala pong nagpapakitang sites po. Hindi po kayo nakashare.
Ay, hindi ba?
Yes po.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Wait lang po.
That's correct, Miss. On our end, we cannot see. Thank you so
I'm so
much.
sorry. You should, okay, sige po. Nakalayo-layo na pa ako yata kanina. All right. Anyway, there. Okay. So just to go through some, no? Okay, ito po yung sinasabi ko kanina. Our considerations for differentiating instruction always starts with assessment. Na-mention ko na po, technology, differentiated instruction, and language consideration. So these are the four things we should talk about in our, if you have PLCs, right, professional learning centers or communities in your department meetings. Okay, these are four things that you would like to look into if you're seriously looking to preparing, okay, personalized learning paths for your students, okay? And like I said earlier, do not forget to use the scores that are coming from your different assessments. But of course, you have to talk this over among your different subject teachers per department, no? That you're giving the same assessments as much as possible in order to also get reliable data. I already mentioned about the importance of our LMS. And since you have not seen it earlier, these are some examples po of apps that we can use. You can explore them on your own later on. Okay? And share some if you also would like to. And then, of course, this is na po yung part, no? Using choice boards. Yan. So this is an example of a learning choice board where given as, let's say, a topic, you can let students explore the topic in different ways, no? Especially if you know already who among your students need to have tasks, no? That they can do on their own and not something that it's given to the whole class and that they have to do it even if they can't. So at this point, I'd like to share some examples that I've used in my classroom, all right? And which were actually submitted in Genio. Last December, in my research class, I gave them one topic. Kasi ganun naman po dapat yun, no? Content must not also be, how do you call it, sacrifice. Kasi we still have to make sure that the melts will be followed, no? And be given and be taught in our classes. So, I wanted them to explore the topic on the real world impact of research, bridging theory and practice. At this point, last December, just bear with me po with this short narrative, I already knew na based on data, no, that I have, that some of my students are advanced in technology, no, in the use of technology. And if I give them the same thing like PowerPoint lang, some of them already are uh, bored, no, in creating. So, ang ginawa ko po, I brought them to the computer lab and using this one topic, I told them, okay, here's your choice board. Not exactly this one, this is just an example. I gave them a choice board. I said, you're free to present, okay, or to create the output of this topic based on what you feel you're interested in, okay, and the best way, no, that you would of course earn points for this specific task. So ito po yung mga lumabas sa na outputs ko, and you will see how different students, all right, produced outputs on the same topic based on the level of technology or how they will use technology to produce their outputs. Okay, thus in a way I have helped them, no, individualize their direction in this particular topic. Can we show them some examples, Ma'am Bea? So there are
Ma'am,
5
on it po.
that we will show you today. And you can see here how the students attack the same topic. So, sandali lang naman, no? So, this is an example where my student A have used Canva, all right? So, you can see here. So, sa atin naman, naintindihan natin, no, how Canva is used. Okay. Another student used another way, right? Here naman po, my student created a website, all right, using Wix. Right? Kasi mas advanced talaga tong batang to. Right? So that's another way. And then another way was ito. Gumawa siya ng
Take off the foo-foo.
yan. So
Take off the couches.
presentation
Take off
naman
the
po
Wi-Fi.
siya.
Take off the money phone. Take off the card.
Ayan. Another way is the fourth one. It is an interactive website naman po ang ginawa niya. Okay, so may mga links dyan that you can click and then it goes to whatever that link is. Okay? Maganyan po. And then the last one, ito is the flip naman. Okay, if you're familiar with the flip book. So, one topic, 5 different ways of responding, one rubric. Okay, so this is my way of answering or catering to yung na-observe ko. That's one, no? Observe and the data that I looked at when I gave this project, PBL, last December. All right? And when of course I started scoring them, syempre, what do you expect, no? It will of course give them a higher production rate. So mas masaya pa yung mga bata. And the rest, okay? Kasi makikita mo naman 'yon. And the rest, they only presented siguro PowerPoints kasi for them that's their choice. But you can really see na there are some students who need to be taught differently and to respond to our topics in a different way. And they're happier. Diba? They become more productive. So that's one, no? Example. And all these, of course, were uploaded in Genio through the assignment section. Okay po. Thank you, Miss Bea. So let me grab back the screen. Okay, so continuing from there, so that's how the choice board, no, will be used. You can create your own choice boards, of course, and then you make it more, you can make it more creative and exciting and interesting by using, of course, yung dice, no? Rolling them, and then where they fall, then that would be your choice one, choice two, etc. Okay, so that's one, no? How do you call this now? Method that we can use. Yan. Another way, of course, is ito, yung how we group them. Again, usually when we group them kasi, di ba, you tell me if I'm wrong, but sometimes because of the lack of time, ang sasabihin lang natin, okay, you group yourselves. I need 4 groups, tig-10. Yan. So, students, they go with their friends, or kumisan naman, we are a little bit ready. You say, oh, I have a list here. Nag-random ako. Okay, go to those groups. Again, at the end of the day, probably, we're not really very happy with the product, no? Whatever because nga po, nowadays, no? I mean, based on research, we cannot just group our students that way. Our groupings must also be based on data that we have. Okay? And at the end of the day, we will all be happy as to the product, no, that the students will be producing. So when we talk about flexible data-informed student groups, this is when we use data, no? Let me just read a part of my notes here. In this practice, what we do is we put our students in temporary groups, no? Hindi siya groups for the whole year. Kasi mauumay din po sila. And the number one idea about a flexible data-informed student group is that we should see a change, no, in our students. Kaya nga we're putting them in these temporary groupings based on data that we have. Okay? So, when they work together, all right, as far as they did that to work together, we keep these groupings. But if they're ready to move on to another type of grouping, then we can again regroup them, all right? So these groupings can be heterogeneous, no? Skill levels, varying in skill levels. They can be homogeneous also, or they belong to the same skill level. But the grouping, they should change often based on our objective and the student's interest. If they're ready, parang ganun yon. Alright? So they're called temporary lang po. Another thing also about this grouping is that in this approach, okay, data informs the teachers now on how and who among our students can stay together. Right? Yun ang maganda rito no? Hindi yung, ikaw Jane, and you Pedro, and you, ganon, or count 1, 2, 3. Kasi those are the usual ways of us grouping students, no? But this time, if we really try to use data, we will be producing groups that are more productive. That's what research says. And the production actually, no, capacity of these groups will not really be based on what they're bringing in, but it's more of where they are at that moment. At kaya nga nakikita mo what kind of products do they produce at the very end of the lesson. Okay? So siguro it's good to try this, no? Sometime in our classroom. Pero syempre mahirapan po tayo if we don't have enough data. Yun nga lang ang weakness, no, of this type of method. And that's why it's very important at the very beginning pa po ng school year, we really make sure that we're serious about the assessments, no, that we're giving to the students, and that we're really looking into the data that's coming out from them, and to really study them as a group. Kaya nga importante, no, ang PLC. Kasi having professional learning communities in our school will really structure, no, our subject areas and make sure that we have time, all right, within our schedule to really study and analyze the data, okay, that we have, in order that we can do this differentiated instruction, or we can look into the strategies that we use in the classroom, best practices. Pero kung pinag-uusapan lang po kasi natin during our department heads, we don't have enough time. You know, in our case, for example, in school, we only have 55 minutes for a department meeting once a week. O ano po bang mani-discuss natin doon? Pero pag may PLCs tayo, we have more time. Okay? Kasi naka-structure na siya sa time ng school. And that's when we have all the, what do you call this now? The free time to discuss about the data that we can bring in per subject area. Okay? So, ganyan po that's how we look into flexible data-informed student groups. Okay? All right. Yung tiered assessments naman or assignments, I have here an example here, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Again, it's telling us na when we know our students, we know also that when we give assignments, hindi pwedeng iisa lang yan, no? Isulat sa blackboard or ibigay sa GC and then, gawin nyo na lahat yan. But if we know that we have different kinds of students in our classroom, based on sa nauna ko na pong pinakita kanina, we will be ready and open to the idea na we can prepare 3 different tiers for them. For example, no, if we're looking into evaporation, ito science to, condensation and precipitation, if we have tier 1 students, no, medyo yung mga nasa baba, okay, those who are slowly, absorbing information. I'm not saying they are very, how do you call this? They are slow, no, in understanding. I'm saying they're slow in absorbing information. We can let them identifying muna, no, identification, labeling. But if we have tier 2 students, all right, who are faster in the absorption of information about evaporation, condensation, we can go beyond identifying lang and labeling. At this point, what can we do? Let the students explain na the process of the water cycle. Okay? But if we have students who are very fast, okay, in absorbing the information, our content, no, about evaporation, wag naman na at this point nag-identify pa lang sila, hindi na po, no? Let's tell them, let's investigate, give them an assignment on investigation already. And I think at the end, no, of the topic, everyone will be happier, no, and more creative at this point. They can give more, all right, rather than less. So, yan po yung example of how tiered assignments can be done. In other words, what are we doing? We are not going to lock our students in ability boxes. Okay? Kasi kung nagbibigay tayo ng isang assignment lang, kunyari, lahat sila, identifying and labeling, nilock mo na sila sa ability boxes. Okay? What we need to do is, like I said, like we can see here, we need to cluster our students, no? Students need to be clustered so that they can be assigned specific tasks. Okay, at the same time, helping them also, no? I mean, oh my God, sometimes it's so frustrating to see, no? Students in our classroom. Ako nag-observe po kasi ako ng klase. And I feel so bad, no? Na a teacher has a very interesting topic. Tapos, iisang kasi lang ng assignment or work ang pinapagawa sa estudyante. Tapos, if you look around, which I often do when I observe, no? I don't just observe the teacher. Okay? When you observe a teacher, in order to really figure out, no, na things are really going well, we need to look at everything in the classroom. Okay? how students answer, who raises their hands, how they sit, no, how the students are sitting, how they're conversing, and what they're doing. All this come together. Okay? And like I said, I feel frustrated sometimes na I see students after doing yung, kunyari, nakatirwan lahat sila, identify, wala na. Okay? They start talking na, they start disturbing na their classes. Kasi probably these students, if you look at their data, probably they need more than identifying. Di ba? Sometimes po, okay? So, these are things, no? We should consider when we prepare our lessons and when we consider also the interests and needs of our students. Okay? So, how do we do this? Tignan nyo, anong challenge level ang kailangan ng mga estudyante natin? How complex or simplified should their assignments be? Ano pa ba? Tignan nyo, ano ba yung process na binibigay nyo sa klase niyo? Anong mga products ang kailangang mailabas nila, no? For this particular topic, and what resources do you have? That's very important as well. So that if you consider all this, then you can tell yourself, okay, I need to tier my assignments. Okay? And the task, all right, that I'm going to give in my class. That's why I had a teacher before, just to share to you, know, how happy the students were at the very end of the lesson, because the assignments given to them were tiered. Okay? Kaya ang nakakatuwa talagang tignan na there's a group here. If I have to use this assignment, no, that we're looking at, there's a group here, di ba? When you identify, ano ginagawa? Nagbubukas ng mga dictionary, they're looking at, if you allow them to use their phones, they're into e-dictionaries, or they're looking at information, mga ganon. Habang itong grupo naman, all at the same time to po, ano ginagawa nila? They're trying to make a presentation, maganyan. And then itong ibang group naman to, makikita mo, they're in-depth, no? They're really into themselves, trying to investigate. Some ganyan, nagbabasa ng mga newspaper, etc., etc. So, it's so, how will we, what's the word that we can use here? It's so productive, no? Yun ang magiging itsura ng classroom ninyo. And, ano ba importante? At the end of the day, our students have absorbed the information. Di ba? The content we're giving them in the way and manner that is applicable and appropriate to them. Okay? Alright po. So, continuing. So, may choice boards po tayo. You can use choice boards. You can put them in different groups. You can tier their assignments. Okay? Or, I think some of you are doing this naman na we can always design our classrooms to have different learning station. Now, I did not just say learning dito. I wrote down rotating po learning stations. Okay? Where they can start with you, just like the picture says, and then they can move on where they can work with other students. Again, when we have a collaboration station, let's apply yung flexible data-informed student group so that, like I said earlier, all right, we're looking fresh, no, at where they are, okay, at that point, especially when we put them into groups, okay? So they can start together, work together from where they're coming from. And then, again, let's use technology, kung ano man yung available resources natin. And they're moving, Pwede naman po teachers ito no? As much as possible kasi titingnan natin ilang oras meron tayo and how much lang they can do in that period. Sometimes kasi we're too excited. Ang daming prepare. Okay? But time dictates that you can only do one or two. All right? And so look into that. So the number of stations you create depends on how many minutes do you have. Okay? So para magiging successful naman po yung rotation. All right? And again, please design this based on data that you have. Kasi ang aking ano po kasi advocacy dito is it should be data driven. Lahat ng ating differentiating instruction is data driven sana po. All right? May basis tayo. So that we can really cater to the needs and interests, like you said earlier, of our student. Ayan. And of course, yung learning stations natin na rotating, dapat at the very beginning, na-expose na natin yung mga estudyante so that they know how it's done, no? How it's done. In fact, you can move from the classroom to the ground to the computer lab, no? If you have enough time. Okay? Kasi I think some schools have, some lang, no? I'm not sure if it's true, but I just heard that may nagda-double period, yung mga ganon, no? And that this is possible. And that's actually removing them also from a classroom, no? Na nakabox din sila sa classroom. Right? Kasi the more the students are exposed to different environments, the more na cater tayo, no, sa mga abilities din nila. Okay? So that's one. And of course, for higher years, we can always rely on our PBLs, no? Yung mga project-based na instructions natin. Just like what I shared earlier. Okay? Bigyan natin, no? Give them opportunity. Give our students the opportunity to be able to do more, okay? While looking into only one particular topic. Okay? So I just checked kasi the time, it's 10:05. All right? So we have less than an hour to go. We have enough time for that. Don't worry po, para hindi tayo mag-overtime. Okay? All right. So, yan, no? Team-based, goal setting, lahat-lahat na ito should be considered when we are looking at project-based learning. Okay po? Yan. So, ano pang nandito? We should also make sure that when we do PBL, our students are empowered again to choose what kind of projects they can work on as long as it's all coming from one basic content kasi nga we still have to cater to the learning competencies po naman. Okay? But let's not also forget to balance yung mga tasks that are given to them na collaborative at saka independent na task para makita rin naman natin na our students are really learning from this project base. Kasi the reality is if you give them a project, kuminsan the fast learners are the only ones doing it. And then yung mga, the slow absorbers sometimes nakikinig na lang. Hindi naman po pwede yan. Okay? That's why we really have to choose naman which instruction method really applies to our classrooms. Okay? All right. So continuing on, this is one research, no, that I just mentioned earlier that I'd like to share to you. Kasi in this research that has been posted as part of the book ng Math Academy Way, 2024, may sinasuggest po kasi sila na indeed they found out that, let me just read, different people generally have different working memory capacities and that indeed our students learn at different rates. Kaya ko po kanina nabanggit na it's also coming out in some researches that it's more than learning style na po ito. Okay? It says here that people do not actually learn better in their preferred learning style. Okay? Now, of course, if there are some researchers here among us, this is something we would like to look into also kung totoo ba ito. Okay? But as far as this book is concerned, it's telling us na when we look at differentiating instruction, let's look now more on the learning style. Okay? Tingnan naman natin yung other angle. Let's look at how our students now learn at different rates. Okay? So, instead, it says here, different people now need the same form of practice, but in different amounts. Kaya nga, that's where our tiered assignments will come in. Okay po? Alright, so if you have other researches there, you'd probably like to look into them and share to the group as well. Okay? Alright, here's another reflection question. Now, knowing that, okay, some researchers tell us na it's not just learning style, but this time, it's probably more on the speed, no, that our students absorb what we're giving to them. Let me ask you this question. How do you currently now then accommodate the different learning speeds of your students? Ayan. Any comments po? Any sharing? So this time, we're not just talking of learning style. Let's talk about learning speeds, okay? Or how do you call it? The others call it learning rates, different learning rates. Ayan. Any sharing po from our participants, Ma'am Bea?
So far po, none.
Mm-hmm.
But I think our teachers are currently typing their answers.
Okay,
Ayan
great.
po, Sir
Sige.
Gian said, scheduling consultation time.
Galing. Okay, very good. Anything else? Meron pa po?
Yan.
Are there other ways? Ma'am Bea, let's try nga yung ano, di ba there's a, pwede na kayong menti o yung Padlet?
Yung Padlet po, ma'am.
Oo. Kung
Okay.
pwede, kung hindi, never mind, no? Baka it will just take our time.
Okay, so Ma'am Pauline said enrichment activities.
Great, okay.
And Sir Marlo or Ma'am Marlo. Okay, I accommodate different learning speeds by providing flexible tasks.
Galing. Okay, sige pa po.
Okay, teachers, keep your answers coming po.
Yeah, because your answers po are also helping other teachers, no? As we move on to answering these questions.
Ayan, Sir Alvin J. said differentiated activities and small group instructions.
Okay? Keep it coming po. Meron pa mamaya? Or anyone who'd like to share po at this point? Let's hear from you also.
Okay, so Sir Mark Evans said provide one-on-one or small group tutoring for my learners.
Right.
Okay,
Good answer.
followed by Ma'am Sheena, grouping students by their current needs, offering extra support for those who need more time and providing advanced tasks for fast learners.
Yes, yes. Very good. Ano pa po?
Okay, Ma'am Shirley said considering level of difficulty of activities. Okay, and then Ma'am Annalisa, accommodate learning speeds through technology-supported activities.
Yes. As we
And
mentioned
Ma'am,
earlier, that we also try to, as much as possible, use technology kasi it's really helpful. You don't have to prepare a lot na po. Sige po.
okay, ito medyo mahaba yung sagot ni Sir David. During discussions, I tend to provide more examples and elaborate the topic to make it easier to understand. Probing and processing questions are also implemented to make students think critically.
Yeah, yung prompting questions, right? And of course, again, you already since na-mention nyo rin po for critical thinking, make sure also, no, ano kaya ng bata? What kind of prompts, what kind of questions are asked? Kasi sometimes there are some questions na medyo higher thinking, baka hindi rin kaya ng mga students natin who are still slow in absorbing the content. Baka mas mahirapan din sila. So again, even in our questions, we also tier them. Okay, thank you. Isa pa po, Ma'am Bea.
Okay, so I'll read that. Ma'am Maria said, give students option for tasks that suit their level and let them work in small groups where they're comfortable. Break lessons into simple steps so slower learners can take their time while faster ones can try extra challenges or fun tasks.
Right. Oh, syempre, no? I mean, we're listening to different answers here that is, of course, applicable to different levels. Nakikita din natin yun, no? Na, bakit to pang elementary, this one's for the junior high, and then other examples are given for senior high school naman. Nakikita natin yung scenario, okay? All right. So, thank you so much for your responses po to this reflection. And indeed, makikita po natin sa responses natin that we are already no actually accommodating our students learning speeds. Let's not just forget na it should still be data driven po, okay, meaning to say just like in science, Ma'am Annalisa, di ba? I mean, I keep on calling Ma'am Annalisa kasi she's coming from the same school, and sometimes it's safer to call your colleague. Na even in science, di ba, you calculate speed, di ba, you calculate speed. And in our case also, we should also look into how fast, how slow, ganon, no? Is our students in absorbing lessons. So that, kasi maraming nag-mention, i-group natin sila, bigyan natin ng task, ganon, ganon. But again, like I said earlier, let's not forget na data-driven pa rin po dapat ang basis natin, no? It's good to observe, it's good to look at attitude, it's good to go to the guidance office and find the profiles of the student, no, and find out what data they can share to us. But again, the best data would be the one that's happening in the classroom, yung nakukuha talaga natin based on our assessment strategies. Okay? All right. Even in if you read also researches po, yun din talaga ang talagang sinasabi nila sa atin. Okay? And of course, do not forget to speak to parents, no, about this. When you are able to identify through data what kind of learning speed Yan, pwedeng gamitin na natin yan, the learning speed of your child, ganyan, with our conversations with our teachers, okay? But of course, you have to read more, no, about what learning speed is, so that when you start conversing, to your parents about what this term means, they will have more or less an idea. Kasi, hindi lang isang tao, it's not just a village now, no, that will build up a child. It's more than that. Technology is already in, no? Iba na ang panahon po natin ngayon. Okay? It takes more than a village to raise indeed a child. Okay? Especially if we have helicopter parents, no, among our stockholders. Let's help them understand, no, na beyond the hovering over their child, it's more of get down from your helicopter and go down on the ground and help, and really, okay, help your students or your child from this level. Hindi yung nag-hover ka and making sure na, it's not bad to be a helicopter parent, but sometimes it's better to do things on ground level. Okay, I hope you understand what I mean by that, teachers. Okay, all right, so moving on from this, I think second, reflection question. Let's look into some of your answers, because your answers now are actually summarized by these support systems that we need to give our student. And some of your answers actually came out here, right? So we give them tasks based on their acceleration, di ba? So acceleration options, remedial support, na-mention din nyo po yan. But even in remedial, please don't forget, intervention, Kasi ang intervention is, okay, ito yung nangyayari sa classroom, medyo mababa, bigay agad, Support agad based on acceleration option. Huwag na nating hintayin yung end of the year, okay, to help the child. It should be while it's happening. Bigay agad po, yung help na kailangan. And I think it was also mentioned earlier, extended, of learning time, peer tutoring, okay? And of course, the use of resources. Whatever we have in school, okay? Let's look in our libraries. Because of technology kasi kuminsan din, we forget that we have a library, no? And if you have an annual, okay, budget for libraries, then tell your librarians, these are the supplementary materials we need because we are now doing what we call as acceleration options to help our students, okay? To individualize and personalize our learning paths for our students. Ayan. So, very good po. Natumbok natin in our responses. Okay? Alright. Now, moving from there, since na-mention ko na rin po kanina, when we talk of personalized learning, let's not forget our parents and our communities. Okay? Our stockholders. If you are into accreditation, okay? And specifically, PAASCO po, di ba? They have a new tool. And if you have gone through them, very, very specific po yung accreditation on stockholders participation, okay, in our curriculum programs and the strategies that we use. Ano pong ibig sabihin nun? That we are not working in isolation. We're not supposed to be planning our personalized learning paths on our own. Kasama dapat po natin si parent. Diba? Okay? Para naintindihan niya kasi the parent in a personalized learning path has a role to play. Because like for example, when we prepare or design this, diba? Hindi naman pwedeng all the activities we prepare for our kid, for our student, is done in the classroom. Hindi naman po pwede yan. Some of this will be done in the home under the supervision of the parent. Okay? Ganyan po ay yung understanding natin ng personalized learning path. To give you an example po, we do have circumstances of students at risk, di po? Di ba? That's another way kasi of calling students who need help. Parang ganon when it comes to personalizing. That's one side. Okay? Yung may mga what do you call this now, may mga tendencies to be depressed, yung mga ganon. Sila yung mga nabibilang sa student at risk. Another side of student at risk are those students nga po, who are slowly absorbing information in the classroom, and because we do not meet them in the classroom in that level of absorption, they are now becoming the ones who are failing. Okay? So, nagiging at risk na sila. So, if you look at all this, kailangan there are activities that they need to do in the classroom and outside. Okay? And parents must be also taught on how to do the personalized learning to accommodate the acceleration options we're giving to their kids. Okay? So how do we do this? If we have administrators here, regular communication, di ba? And at the same time, we include them when we celebrate accomplishments also. And if we can have partners in our community who can help us, why not? I think they're very open, no? Yung mga communities natin, mga barangays natin, when I go around, I think some of you have been participants in some of the Genyo seminars we've been holding, no? We often tell you, don't forget that you belong in a barangay and that there are many resources in our barangay who can help us. Okay? Why not top parents, for example, who become, I'm not sure no how it can be done, but I think if we have the will, we can do it. If we cannot afford to have teacher helpers in the classroom, di ba? Following a proper process, why not tap our parents to come in into our classrooms and help us out, no? With our children. I think some parents naman who are not really working may even appreciate that. In the countries in some countries that I visited, okay, or let's say for example when I was teaching the United States, we top parents, no, they came in to help us with our ESL students. They really sit with them, no, because we prepared for them learning paths, itong individualized na to, and they sit with them, all right, and they help them out, and that can happen in one period. So kung pwede, why not? Di po ba? Let's use our community partners. Ayan. But it should be properly processed. Okay? And then, of course, we have parent workshops that could be part of our extension programs in the school. Imagine where this ko na, no? Itong personalized learning can actually go. It can even become a part of our extension services. Okay? Where we tap our community. Okay, ganyan po tayo mag-isip, comprehensive, no? We go beyond a certain element, okay, and involve people into the concept. Okay, so yan po yan yung part ng teacher. I mean, ng community and parents. Of course, sa atin naman pong teachers, and if we have administrators here, we can never be successful without your help, okay? Kasi po, in reality, right, when we personalize the learning of our students based on their acceleration, no, capacities, we do need materials. Okay? We really need to also make sure that our schedules as teachers can provide us the time to do this. Okay? We also need space, meaning when we talk about space, we need our libraries, we need our computer labs working, because we already mentioned earlier the leverage of we have to consider technology leverage. Okay? We also need support staff. We need our guidance office to be very, very participative and proactive. We need them kasi they're supposed to keep a profile of our students where we can start, okay, knowing who our students are. Coordination in the school must be part of our process, no? And of course, let's make personalizing learning of our student part of the budget considerations. Okay? Kung meron po tayong mga administrators dito. All right? We need your help to back us up. Okay? So, in a summary, no, what support systems then would best benefit our students? Okay? As part of our reflection again. Although some of these already came out earlier, no? But to just manage time, whatever time we have left, we need teacher training. Okay? Hindi po kasi din madali, based on experience, I'm just talking from my own opinion po, na mag-personalize ng learning if we don't know how it's done. First and foremost, database po ito. We need to know as a teacher how to analyze data. Okay? So, if you have teachers in school who are into this one, no, analyzing data, let's help, no, our teachers who are just coming in. Let's help those who have been with us but have never used data as a basis of their practice. Okay? So teacher training is so important on this one. Again, since culture will really be part and will really affect how our students also absorb information, okay? Then we should also have training on cultural competency. Hindi na lang lagi-lagi on strategies, no? Na alam na po natin 'yan. Ang dami na nating alam na strategies. But this time let's focus on training on cultural competency. How to use the culture that the students bring in and create methods and strategies from them. Okay? So we can really cater to the interest, like you said, of our students. And of course, technology will still be there kasi masyadong mabilis ang pag-develop ng mga learning apps. And ayaw nating mahuli, no? So as a new learning app is coming in, probably if we have a technology staff there, must also train us ASAP. Okay? Another one, assessment literacy. Let's be taught also, let's be trained on how to use the different assessments we give. Okay? And probably how to do collaborative planning. Okay, ang collaborative planning po kasi is very applicable if we have PLCs. Okay, kasi that's exactly what professional learning communities are for. Okay? So I am really part also of my advocacy. Sana nga talaga po if we can establish PLCs in our schools. Can we see a raise of hand po, Ma'am Bea? Kung how many of our teachers here are already into PLCs? Can we see that?
So
Meron
far
ba?
po wala pa pong nag-ano, pero may mga nagre-react po. Ayan si Ma'am Shekalin ata
Sige po, go ahead, Ma'am Bea.
and Sir Gian.
So they have PLCs already?
Yes po.
Oo. I cannot see kasi from there. Is Ma'am Eunice raising her
Ma'am
hand?
Eunice. And then
Can we
Ma'am
ask them
Leilani
to
is
share?
doing a thumbs up. Ma'am Leilani.
Oo. Can we ask, Ma'am, whoever's raising, how do you use PLCs in their schools to probably talk about ito po, no? This thing that we're discussing right now. Very briefly lang, if they can describe. One kind of PLC kasi is yung data-driven. Can we ask one of them, Ma'am Bea, if they can share? Can you call out among those who
Okay,
raised their hand?
I think the last teacher I saw raising their hand is Ma'am Eunice.
Ma'am, if you can share po, how you're using your PLCs po to help out, no, in individualizing our students' interests. If you may po.
Ayan, but Sir Gian, he also raised his hand and he answered sa chat. We try subject and or project integration where one project can be graded for two or more subjects.
Okay. That's what we call as kwan, ano, yung parang we call it as mga CCPTs ba, yung collaborative. I think, no, parang ganun yan. Okay, sige. So, since it's not a topic naman, it would be good, no, to establish your PLCs, no, in school. You have to seriously consider establishing it. Kung talagang gusto talaga, we can do it naman po, na. That could be probably another topic to be discussed later on. All right. So, moving from this support, no, that we can use, we can again go back, no, to, I just want to mention again, kasi I'm talking about data literacy most of the time here. Ang data literacy, just a background, no, on data literacy po, is this is when you try to transform student data into something that is doable, actionable. Okay? How do we do it? Very briefly, let me just skip that activity already, no, because I'm also conscious of the time. Yung data literacy kasi is really a core component of practices of the present time na po, no? And it's really something that we need to absorb as teachers because this is the evidence that will give us to make sure that our teaching practices are really based on something which is reliable. Okay, na ito talaga si estudyante A, ito talaga si student B. Okay, based on the data that he is giving to us. All right, based on the assessments that we give. Okay? All right. So, how do we translate data very briefly into something that we can use in our institution? We can use them kasi po for our goals, on adjusting our instruction, on how students are grouped. We already gave that earlier. How interventions are planned, and how content can be differentiated. So, marami po, no? We can do a lot of things because we are using the data that is coming out from our different strategies, no, of assessing our students. Okay? So at this point, can we just give a 5-minute break lang so that we can move on to the last part of our second session? Ano po, Ma'am Bea?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay. See you back in 5 minutes po. For the second session po, teachers, what I'm going to just share is how we can use Genio to personalize our learning path. And I will give one example of a fictional student. Siyempre, for privacy reasons naman, we cannot use actual students. And how I use Genio to prepare, no? The personalized lesson. Kasi nga, like I said earlier, kung may LMS po tayo, gamitin na natin, no? Kasi it's very, very convenient for the teacher, the student, and the parent also to collaborate on a specific learning path for our kids. Okay? So, let me just share for my screen on that. Sandali lang po ah. Okay. So our session 2 will very very brief lang na po to, no, is how now to create this learning path for our learners using our Genio. Okay? So basically po ang Genio kasi is pwede, no, for our learning path kasi may content repository po siya. Okay? May assessment tools na siya. Meron pa siyang progress tracking mechanism. We also have, I think, some interactive modules already uploaded. We also have real-time feedback system. Okay, so very briefly, let's ask Ma'am Bea, our LIS, okay, in our school, to also verify my dots here, no, my bullets here. Tama, no, Ma'am Bea? We have all of this?
Yes po, ma'am, especially with our content repository. So as we know po, meron po tayong mga contents in Genio, yung mga ready-made contents po natin, which we can find in our content tab po, and you can easily put them in your lesson package. And of course, our assessment tools, we also have those, yung quiz po natin. And we can also see the progress of our students po with Genio. Ayan po. And
Yes.
yung interactive modules din po, our contents also they're also very interactive po. Ayun
Okay.
po.
Yan. So our LI is already verified, ah. Okay. So from this point, mean to say, okay, kaya, pwede natin gamitin si Genyo. Okay? So, anong gagawin natin? No? I think that's one of the questions I said. How do we do it? Where do we start? Okay. Especially for those who have not done it yet, no? Kasi sabi ko kay Ma'am Bea when we were thinking of this, sabi ko meron na yan, may mga gumagawa na yan. But for those who have not even started yet to consider individualizing or personalizing your students, okay, instruction or pathway, this is how simply, no? Very simply to start. So, step 1, again, balikan nyo si students assessment. So, initial student assessment. Data yan. Again, tignan yung data ng estudyante nyo. Dito, dinagdag ko lang, no? Kasi that's where we are too much engrossed in, ano? Ano yung learning style? Sige, let's start from that, no? Let's look at the learning style identification. Kung nandyan pa rin tayo, yan pa rin ang ginagamit natin. What do we have for evaluation? Prior knowledge, okay? Ano yung goal mo? Baseline establishment. Ganyan. That's where we're gonna start. Okay? Kumbaga, parang ano yung data talaga na makukuha mo about the student. Okay, next. Path 2, all right? Or step 2. Content, resource, difficulty, timeline, yan, checkpoint, identification. Look onto all these ones. Ano talaga yung topic na kailangan ng bata? What resources do you have? How are you going to, what do you call this now? Design, no? The difficulty for that, what do you call this now? Specific child. Ano yung timeline mo? Okay? How are you going to check the progress of your student? Okay, once you're ready with all these details, you can now go to step 3, and that is assessment integration, identifying indicators of progress, success, etc. Okay, so ganyan lang po yan. Then, since you have an LMS, the Genyo, nasabi naman natin yan, we can use the different methods here, no? Like interactive content in Genyo, gamification. You can now tap, okay, good students, no? Yung mga top students din natin in the classroom to help out in the plan that you're going to do. Alright? Make sure that we always use real-world applications. Mas naiintindihan po ng bata yan. And of course, don't forget to recognize your students. Okay? Alright. Achievement time yan. Let's do this also in the classroom. And of course, you may have other ways, other methods, other strategies you've already been using. Gamitin po ninyo. Alright? Alright. How to monitor progress? Data analytics, kaya ni Genyo po yan. We can also see the performance of students as indicated by Ma'am Bea earlier. There are engagement indicators. We can do time management also through Genyo, and the achievement tracking is also available. It's there even, we can even print them out for those who've already been using Genyo for a long, long time. Okay? All right. What else? Yung sa success metrics din naman natin, let's see how much completion, okay, or how students will complete the task we're giving them, how engaged they are they moving from one level to another? Palabas, is the time that we're giving them enough? Okay lang ba siya? Okay? The skills that we want to tap, are they being developed? Ayan. Those are the things, no? We're going to look into if we're going to prepare our learning paths. Now, let's have an example. So, at this point, I will use my own account for this one. Or can you do it from your point, Ma'am Bea? Hindi, ano? Nakikita ba yung aking kwan? Hindi pa naman, ano?
Hindi pa po, ma'am.
Okay, so at least I can put in my password. Okay, so okay, I'll share it later on. Wait lang po I'm opening my own account where I did the sample. Very brief lang to, very simple lang po. The others probably have more complex examples to show. Okay? All right. Is it okay to show? Ano? Okay lang, ano, Ma'am Bea?
Yes po, ma'am, if you're already logged in.
Okay, sige. So, I'm gonna screen share. Stop ko muna yung isa. And now I'm gonna share mine. Ito. Okay po. Okay na, Ma'am Bea? Kita?
Yes po, ma'am, we can
Alright.
see your...
So, first, I have a fictional student and paano ko ba alisin to? Okay, wait lang kasi maraming nagpa-pop out. Right? And I've created a lesson for this particular student. So, it's entitled Personalized Learning Plan Path, and let's do the preview of the lesson. So, like I was saying, Laura is 7th grade. He's a very, okay na po siya?
Yes po, ma'am.
The very good student talaga. She could achieve a lot. Ang problema lang po, right, based on data, okay, na napoproduce niya every time there is vocabulary building, she's so low with vocabulary building. So this time, her vocabulary ability is now hindering her overall academic performance. And so because of that, I looked into her strength, I identified her needs, I made goals for her, okay, both academic at saka affective, okay? So academic goal, I want sana by the end of the school year that Laura will be able to demonstrate an increase in her proficiency in vocabulary. And I made a specific number, no? 20% sana ang target goal ko for Laura. Okay? And since vocabulary is an ongoing thing, okay? For affective goal naman, I want to make sure that she can apply whatever skill she's already developing in a discussion group, okay, with her peers. Ayan. So, in other words po, when you plan, hindi lang yung, okay, nakaganon tayo, tapos wala tayong nakikita na data. So, we write out. Talagang i-write out mo yung plan mo for a student. And in this case, isang estudyante lang, no? And look at all the work it will go to just plan for one. And of course, in Genyo, I have here the full plan already for the purpose na ma-download ni parent. Okay, so may iba pang parts yan, no? But I did not include anymore. But kung parent yung parent ni Laura, since she's going to be part of the whole thing, she can download the whole personalized learning path here and read through. Okay, so let's say, let's begin. No? So in this, for example, I prepared a lesson for Laura only. Okay, for Laura only. I may do this in the classroom for her while the others are doing something else on the same content. Okay, ang basis ko dito po is a lesson under Matatag 7, which is I think it's Unit 3 on propaganda. Okay? So, I will give her something to watch first on how she can use context clues. Nakakaintindi naman siya no? So, she's an advanced student. The problem is she's only slow in vocabulary. So she can watch this on her own and understand the content. So I can leave her with that. Then after that, I can let her do the vocabulary builder. So I have here a link she can click on and it will bring her to this particular site, okay, where activities can be prepared for her, where she can go into the dictionary. Ah, yeah, I know.
Yes.
Sorry, I will stop sharing first the other one. Sorry. Yan ang hirap pala pag ganito, no? Okay, so from there, she goes to this site. Okay, by clicking something in the lesson, she goes to this site. Okay po? So, paiba-iba, no? And she's doing it on her own. Okay, balik uli ako sa dito. Right. So, what else can she do? So, aside from clicking here, I can give her also other things here. Pwede kang mag-add sa lesson. Tama po? Okay. Aside from that, what else can she do? Ingenio. Alright? Learning the same unit, Unit 3 on propaganda. Okay? So, she can also go to, hindi pala pwede move here, ano? So, I'll stop share again. Pwede din siya, I made also something for her in shared blog. Okay? So, in shared blog, ito po ang pwede niyang gawin. Okay? So, for those who already use shared blog, you can use that for her to have, tanda lang po kasi medyo move tayo here, move tayo there. Okay, so sharing again. Dapat baguhin ni Zoom ito na pwede tayong move from here to here. Okay, there. So in shared blog naman, you can use this to monitor her progress. How? Pwede nyo na po ditong i-encourage no, yung ibang mga estudyante in the classroom who can have a conversation with her in shared blog where she can practice, okay, yung mga vocabulary words that are given to her in the classroom in line with propaganda, no? You encourage them, sige, ano lang, written muna. So, yan, you can use the shared blog for that. Okay, and then from there, you can have an assessment. So, I also prepared an assessment for her. Again, in Genyo and sandali lang po. It's an oral assessment, okay, that I prepared for Laura. So, in the oral assessment, bear with me please. Medyo humina si Genyo. Okay, in the oral assessment, I called it a check-in, right? So, let me share that. Share. Nasaan na siya? Here. Okay. So, it's an oral assessment this time just to find out where she is. I'm gonna use uploading a picture, yan, video discussion where I will tell her, using the picture, discuss the word propaganda and its implications to you and to the society. So, ito po, pwedeng gagawin niya na sa classroom. So, while yung ibang estudyante are looking into identification, kasi siguro may tier 1 ako, they're identifying what propaganda means, what opinion means, what fact means, mga ganon. Since medyo advanced itong si Laura, mabubore siya if I would just let her look into the dictionary and give the meaning of propaganda. Hindi. So, ang tier niya is tier 3, okay? Remember po personalized to, advanced student siya, pero personalized pa rin yung learning niya. Okay, kasi naka-tier 3 siya. So, ang assignment niya, yung oral assessment niya is more of tier 3. So, picture assessment siya, where she will discuss the word propaganda and implication niya. When I say society, siguro, she has to present it in a bigger group or considering let's say for example, magbigay ako sa kanya ng grass. Okay, pwede din yon. So, catering, no, to the needs of the students. Ito yung picture, ni-analyze niya, and then she will create a graph probably. So, yun lang po, no? Sampling lang on how Genyo can be very helpful as a technology for us, okay, in preparing our learning path. Okay? All right. So, yun po, no? I mean, I think we can stop there and in our sharing with our participants kasi pinakita na ako ni Ma'am Bea 10 minutes lang, but teachers in the long run, okay, we may spend hours and hours and thousands of trainings, okay, on learning paths, mga ganyan. Siguro mga teachers who've been in the profession for a long time would understand this, what I'm trying to say. if we do not have naman the mindset na sinasabi ni Ma'am Lisa, na i-try out, no, na talagang gamitin natin yung data na meron tayo, i-analyze natin para we're ready to cater to this thing about, creating, hindi po talaga mangyayari. Ang mangyayari lang every year would be, we prepare a lesson, we prepare one type of lesson, one type of assessment for different students who are actually in different levels of acceleration speeds in absorbing information. And like what we really do and what really happen every year again, we do have grades, but do those grades really tell us where our students really are? So talagang dito, we have to change our mindset. Okay? Growth mindset tayo. Gagamitin ba natin? Pag-usapan sa school. If we're really, really sure about it and we're serious about it, form your PLCs. Kasi doon sa PLC talaga natin mai-insert po, okay, yung mga programs natin like data-based, content-based, at pedagogical-based, no? Na pinag-uusapan ang strategies to really improve learning path in our school. Okay, and that's where I'm gonna end. Thank you so much to our still 320 siguro kasi mga lima kami dito or 319 participants who have stuck with us from 9:03 to at this point 10:50. Now we are ready for uh, probably sharing of insights or one or two questions po among our participants. Ma'am Bea?
Okay po.
Are there any questions po or if there are comments that anyone would like to share? Siguro isang insight from one of our participants. Let me
Okay,
ask,
teachers.
si Sir Gian. Yeah, Sir Gian, are you still around? Very, very thought-provoking din yung thoughts ni Sir Gian. Are you still here, Sir Gian? Nandyan po ba kaya si Sir Gian? Ma'am Bea?
Yes po, ma'am. He's still here po.
Sir Gian, baka gusto mong if you have any response from what has been mentioned this morning or anyone else aside from Sir? But we have so many comments. Thank you so much for your comments po dito sa ating chat box. Ayan. Or Ma'am Lailani, meron po tayong pwedeng insights lang po natin or response from our participants?
Hello, ma'am.
Hi, Ma'am. Go ahead.
So I'm already all this webinar and I learned a lot, and uh, I'm uh, I'm sure it's not yet late for me to really implement what I have learned, the individualized or the personalized, the personalized learning package, and I'll try it, especially those that are in our Genio already. So we are having that LMS in our school. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, Ma'am Lailani. I appreciate po your comments. Yes, one student at a time po. And no teacher is old enough. I'm retiring also in 4 years, ma'am. But even then, I still strive to know a lot more, something new that I can still give within the last 4 years of my teaching to my students. One student at a time, okay? Thank you, Ma'am
Thank
Lailani.
you, ma'am. Thank you po.
Okay, so at this point, I think may gusto rin namang magsalita, kaya lang, well, it's a Saturday, no? But I think what's more important is that we listen to each other through the chat box. You listen to me, thank you so much if you listen to me. But just to edit po, there are only two things lang naman, no? That maraming nasabi, siguro may napakinggan po kayo, but I'm hoping that you really listen to the importance of, ito lang naman, no? Takeaway ninyo, please use your data coming from the students. Okay? Yun po. Database po tayo. Strive to plan for this in our coming new school year, no? Para may time po tayo. Pag-usapan natin how we can use our data. And number two po, let's not stop, okay, helping our students. Let's not just be teaching one type of student. Okay? When you enter your classes, prepare, if you still have time, prepare for the different acceleration, what do you call this now, kind of students that we have. It's about learning speed na tayo ngayon. Okay? All right. So with that, I end from my part, and I ask, of course, the blessing of our Lord for all of us for the rest of the school year. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Thank you, Diwa. Bea?
Ayan, so thank you so much, Ma'am Ria. Ayan, so we appreciate your time and expertise. And thank you also for sharing your insights with our participants. Ayan, and I do agree po no, that we have to prepare ourselves po kasi marami po tayong students na may encounter in our school. Ayan po, that's why we need to cater to their needs po, to their individual needs. Once again, on behalf of Jenyo and our team, thank you po for joining our webinar today, and we're excited to see how you'll apply these practices to personalize the learning experience of your students. Okay, so and stay tuned po for our upcoming webinars, and feel free to reach out to your DIWA representative if you have any questions or if you need further assistance with Genia. Okay, so once again, I am Bea from DIWA Learning Systems Incorporated. Stay safe, everyone, and see you in our next session. You may now leave our training room. Bye po!
Education is about passion. It is about the passion to create experiences, to empower educators,